Hello everyone and welcome to day 68 of my 100-day project. I'm working on a jute canvas panel today, or a jute panel, I should say. These are oil primed and I really enjoy them. I used one, I believe, during my oil paint, traditional oil paint weeks, or 10-day stint, and then I may have used another one during the oil pastel. And so I thought, okay, I'm coming up to the end of this 10-day period with oil sticks. Let me try it. And it was a challenge. So what I did is I toned it with some cadmium orange, and then I used some solvent on my brush to spread that paint around. And I realized I didn't film this. And as I was doing that, I noticed a face. So I just started scraping away the paint, kind of negative shape painting where I saw the features. And I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to paint. And I really liked that. And then I started to put in the background, which I was like, maybe she's in front of some sort of mountain thing, I don't know, and some sort of landscape situation. So that's what I was working on. And I really, really like how she looks right now. And I wasn't quite sure how I was going to take the next step because I like her features. She's very ethnic looking to me. I really, really liked her. And the minute I put the oil pastel down, I immediately stopped liking it and thought, oh, I wish I had left it. It just didn't look finished to me. And I didn't know how to finish it. So I added more color, and then I went on this journey. So the texture on this panel is fabulous, and it was really, really challenging with these drawing oils. When I've used the other mediums, whether it was the oil paint or the oil pastel is harder. So I can get finer marks a little bit more easily. And had I used a brush, I probably could have layered on this surface the way that I could have with just oil paint. But I was trying to see what I could do with just the drying oils and my little silicone brush. So the silicone brush was great at pushing the pigment into the texture. So that was good. And I really liked the right side of her face. That worked out well. What I was really struggling with was her mouth. And when I initially kind of sketched it out, her mouth is in the wrong place. And her nose isn't quite aligned on the center. And so I was trying to fix her mouth. And then it occurs to me a little bit later that the reason why her mouth is, I'm struggling with it, partly is the texture, but the other is her nose isn't right. So if I got her nose properly in the center of her face, then I could put her mouth in the right place and it would be fine. So it took me a little moment to kind of realize, oh, it's not the mouth, it's the nose. If I fix the nose, I'll fix the mouth. By that time, I had so much paint in her mouth area that it was just sliding around. It was just way too much paint. So I really struggled with that. So that was a good reminder for me to kind of do my center lines, especially at a face like this that's at a bit of an angle. It's really good to at least have your center line going. I've gotten pretty good at getting my eye line lined up horizontally, but it's a good idea to get your vertical line going too, because all the features are off of that line. They branch off of that line. So it was a good reminder for me. And I'm going in, I toned, my intention wasn't for her to be orange, but it was the underpainting, the color that I toned the surface with was that cadmium orange. And when I wiped it away, it gave me the highlights, which I really liked. So I thought about it at the beginning. What color do I want her skin? And what color do I want her hair? And I ended up going with sort of this orangey red combo and kept her hair kind of similar. It's so interesting how I've been doing a lot of this analogous color schemes lately. I don't know. And now that I say this, a lot of the orange and the reds too. So there's something about that that's calling to me right now, I guess. So that's where we go. And then when I get to her eyes, I end up using that malachite green color for her eye. Not because I want all these girls to have blue eyes. I use that color because it's a contrast with the orange. And it makes the eye pop. So that was really where I was going with that. You'll see me there in a minute. There we go. I've got a little bit in there now. And I'm adding in the whites of her eyes using that cerulean blue color. That color is a perfect color for the whites of the eyes. I don't actually use it much as a sky color, although it is good for a horizon, like lower in the horizon. But I really do like it for the whites of the eyes. So I'm going in and kind of adjusting some of the shadows. I have pretty much wiped out her mouth at this point and trying to get that lined up. And you'll see me in a little bit here, kind of, I'm fighting with that side of her face. The left side of her face doesn't look right. All of it is because that center line in her nose is off. So when I get that lined up here in a moment, everything else falls into place really easily, aside from the fact that I've got way too much paint in her mouth area. So I'm just trying to get those shadows worked out, kind of building up that side of her face. I like the dimension in her hair. I really like how that turned out. Fighting, trying to get it. And here I go. I'm like, it's the nose. I need to fix the nose. If you imagine a line coming from the top of her forehead straight down through the center of her face, it doesn't line up. And you have to imagine that line is curving because her face is turned and the face is three-dimensional. The nose comes out. So it's never a straight line down. It curves down from the top. And once I realize, aha, it's the nose, then I get in there and then it comes together a little bit better after that. So I just filled in a little bit of that sky. I'm softening that edge around her hair. See, there I am going, aha, that's what it is. It's not lined up. So it was angled too far to the left. Her head is turned, but it's not turned that much. So I needed to bring it a little bit closer to the right. A little more straight. You see me kind of drawing with my eye, using that hand motion to identify where that center line is. And now I can get the mouth in the right place. And now I'm like, okay, this is better. Took me a while to get there, y'all. Her forehead is really high contrast. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, well, there we go. And there she is. Look at all that texture. Oh my goodness, this was a journey. This one was a journey. But I do have to say, I like her expression. I like the shadows in her hair. I like the right side of her face. I don't mind the left side either. You know, if I were to do it over, if I want to adjust anything, I might tone down the contrast on her forehead. That's like really, really bright. But I do really like her hair and the shadows in there. And her nose eventually got there. Anyway, there we go. Day 68. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you're doing well. Take care of you. Only 2 more days of oil stick. Then we're off to gouache. See you in the next one. Bye.